Hello there, and welcome to my cha channel. Okay, so many people have requested more story time, so from now on, as much as I can remember, after I do the review, I'm gonna get into story time. I have a list of so many stories. I'm like thinking back and reminiscent, and I'm like, there's so much I want to share with the world and to my subscribers and to my fans. So before I say anything else, if you want to support this channel, there's going to be a Patreon below the video where you can support this channel. That helps me buy food. Eventually it's going to get me a computer, if possible, a new phone, because this one is like really old. So I want to get that out of the way. Okay, so I just reviewed the same company, the Big Mountain. I reviewed already the bratwurst, a sausage. They also have chorizo, which I might go get that. And I also reviewed on the veggie grounds. I've already reviewed the cauliflower, and this is the broccoli boost. And I actually got this here in Texas at HEB grocery store, and it was on sale for 97 cents. And it was normally like $6 because I know I got the cauliflower crumbles, which I liked a lot. And this is what it looks like. Wait till you hear the story I got for today. Okay. It smells like Chinese food. Like I even though it probably doesn't have water chestnuts, but I smell broccoli, water chestnuts, and I don't know, I get more of a Chinese food kind of smell. So anyway, this is what it looks like cooked up. And I also have this one too, because I cooked it regular and then I cooked it with taco seasoning. It looks like a piece of a cauliflower, or is that broccoli? Okay, and off the bat, for 97 cents, that's not bad. You know? It's similar to the cauliflower grounds, veggie grounds, but I like the cauliflower a little bit better than this. Now we're going to try it with the taco meat. Taco seasoning, sorry. Okay, that doesn't work. So I use taco seasoning on the veggie grounds with the cauliflower. And this is the broccoli. It doesn't taste horrible, but alright. I think this would go really, really good in Asian cuisine. Like, maybe like a wonton or egg roll. Yeah, actually that would go really good in an egg roll. So if you get this, you can try it with taco seasoning, but I'm trying to think if Italian food would go good with this. Like with a marinara. What am I thinking with meat and marinara? Like a bolognese? I still like the veggie grounds with the cauliflower better. So, FYI, if you see both, get the one. Because this one has Canadian yellow split peas, broccoli, carrots, red pepper, sunflower seeds, coconut oil, sunflower oil, salt, garlic, onion, brown sugar, apple powder, cilantro. Well, see, it has cilantro in it. And, I don't know. Chive spices, less than 1% of yeast extract, but it's no MSG, natural smoke flavor. Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would still get the cauliflower over this one. I do like this company quite a bit. I started my other video when I do the cauliflower crumbles. Even though this is processed, it's not literally as processed as like Impossible or Beyond Meat. Like they're using whole ingredients. Like you can see it, you know, it's like split peas, broccoli, carrots, red pepper, you know, and you can actually see it. in the package, like the different stuff. But it doesn't taste like veggies though. Like it's hearty. Like it's really good. I don't know if you ever did it. Like I did it once before. I used sunflower seeds and cauliflower. You can use other nuts too, but mostly sunflower seeds and cauliflower, and pulse it in the food processor and then put it on a baking sheet so it kind of like dries out and gets like not dries out, but you know what I'm saying, like cooks it or whatever. It reminds me of that. So story time, and where's my water? I have so many stories to tell you. So anyway, back in the day, I used to work fast food, and because I lived in a small town and there was like nothing much to like for jobs and stuff. And so I was looking at the paper for a job, and you know what? FYI, I like this plain. Like plain, it does have an interesting seasoning. You could put this over nachos or tacos, plain, and it would work. It just for some reason did not work with the taco seasoning. Yeah. If you get this, yeah, just try that. Just put this over nachos or a taco and don't add no extra seasoning. Maybe a little bit of salt or a little garlic powder or something like that. So anyway, it was in the newspaper and it said, no experience needed, start right away, good pay, whatever. Well, minimum wage, because I'm old, okay, minimum wage was like $4.25 an hour. And they were paying like $5.50, $6, something like that. I don't know. It was more than minimum wage. And it was in the next town over. And you could maybe say technically 2 towns over, but whatever. And so I showed up, and it was really odd because I dressed up because I thought I was going to have an interview. I dressed up, the address that was shown, and I had my resume, and I was like, yes, I'm here for the job. I said, you know, you want me to go ahead and fill out an application or whatever. And he's like, no, you don't need to fill out an application. He's like, but when can you start? I'm like, I was like caught off guard. I was like, when can I start? And so I wish I didn't eat all the regular plain one because the taco one is just, yeah. So anyway, he was like, when can you start? And I'm like, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, I could start now if you want me to, or tomorrow. I can start tomorrow. He's like, can you start now? I was like, yeah, I guess so. And so behind him was a whole bunch of phones. And they were just the old-fashioned, you pick them up and have to push the button phone, you know. And these long tables, and there was partitions between the tables, and that was your cubicle. And the partition was just a cardboard box. Like you take a big cardboard box and cut it like in 4 times, and you had some duct tape and you taped it to the wall, and it was that ghetto. Like literally, you sat in the cubicle, and on the right and left of you is a cardboard box that's been cut, and it's duct taped to the bottom and to the side of the wall. Seriously. And there was a girl there that stood around. It was very small too, and there was a girl that stood around, and she had balloons. And they tell me he's like, I'm going too fast. Okay. He's like, okay, well, he's like, you're hired. And I'm like, don't you want my application? He's like, you know, that might be a good idea. And he like took my application, you know, and he took it and he was just like, okay, yeah, here you go. You're hired. I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, don't I fill out the application? Because you need my social security number, my address, my name, all that stuff. And he's like, well, what is your name? I gave him my name. He goes, okay, I'll write it down. You're clocked in. I'm like, he goes, and you get paid on, I think it was either Friday or every Saturday. And it was only like in the evening time. Like, it was like from like 5 o'clock to like 9 o'clock at night or something like that. And so, and there was already people working, you know, there. And so they set me down and they gave me a script. And they said, you know, call the people, we'll give you the numbers and you call the numbers. And then you'll get paid per hour, plus you'll also get, you know, if you get commission if you make a sale. And so I'm sitting there and I'm reading the script, and they didn't even train me or nothing. Like, you're literally call the number that they gave you. You literally call the number. Let me see who this is. So I call the number and I'm reading the script. There's so much to say on the story. Okay. But this is not one of my awesome stories. Like, I have stories that are just like, whoa, especially a law of attraction stories. So stay tuned, right? And so he gives me the script and the number, and I call, and there's not even no training. It was weird. And you call the number, and it's just like, hi, is this 974, whatever the number is, right? Like, it's like, let's say it's the number. It's like, yes, is this 974-942-6494? Well, yes, it is. Oh my goodness, congratulations, you have won. And they're like, won what? And they're like, but you have to quote this famous quote. Forgive me, this was a long time ago. I was like really young, okay? I'm older than I look. And I said, what famous quote is, when it rains, it pours? And they're supposed to say Morton Salt. And then I'm supposed to say, congratulations, you won. Some people didn't know that, especially people, probably not nowadays. But back in the day, over 90% of the people said Morton Salt. If they didn't, my job was to get them to say it. And it was so funny because they didn't train us. So we had to like use our brain. And I kind of found out then I was really good with sales. And so, I was like, what famous quote is, when it rains, it pours? If they didn't say, I was like, ma'am or sir, whatever, I really want you to win this prize. I mean, you already been pre-selected, blah, 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 blah. And, sometimes I'd be like, it's a salt. Like, I would say it really quietly, like I don't get in trouble. And I'm like, it's a salt company. The girl with the umbrella. And they would say Morton Salt. And a lot of times they still wouldn't know. And I'm like, I was like, well, it was nice talking to you, Morton Salt. And, is it Morton Salt? I would do that. So they would think that I'm breaking the rules and telling them, when really they're... So they would finally say Morton Salt. And when they did, I'd be like, congratulations, you won, 7 pizzas from Pizza Hut and 5 burgers from Burger King and, 6 movie tickets to the movie. And, but it was in a coupon book. And then I had to tell the customer, I was just like, the person I'm calling, I was like, but we're going to come and deliver it to your house, and there's a processing fee. So they won, but they didn't win. I don't know if you want to call it a scam or not. I mean, they didn't, first of all, they didn't have to buy the book, and we didn't let them look through the book. And we had to say that too. I was like, if we come, you're not obligated to pay for the book. You can look through the book, and if you don't like it, just say, I don't want it. And that's, and you get your money back too. So literally, if you paid I think it was $29 or $24 for the book, and there was an address on there. So, like, if you change your mind, as long as you didn't rip out the coupons, you get your money back. And people did come in and they did get their money back. And so, like, when I got a sale, I would pop a balloon, because the girl had balloons, and you'd pop the balloon and there'd be money in the balloon. There'd be like $1, $2, $3, whatever. I think he said that there was up to $10 or maybe even 20 in there. I don't remember seeing that much. I think one girl maybe got it 10, 15, or 20 once or twice here and there. The most I see myself was like $5. But you got quite a bit of threes, $3 bills. Or 3 ones or whatever. And so it was funny because like he would be at his like little desk for the people to come in and inquire about the job. And then the people was working in the back in those cubicles that we would do. So he would come up, he would get up off of his chair. He's an older guy. He'd get off of his chair and come to our room, and he used to go around and he would say the same thing. Get a sale, ring a bell. Get a sale, ring a bell. Get a sale, ring that bell. And that's all he would pretty much say, unless you engaged and asked him a question, which he didn't like to talk. Okay. The girl that worked the floor that had the balloons that gave you the numbers, that gave you the pin to pop it. And I was making money, okay? Like, I was getting sales. The thing is when I was younger, I sounded like a woman. I mean, I know I sound feminine now, but when I was younger, I even had a higher voice. And it was so hard for me to say what my name was, because they'd be like, because I have a boy's name, a man's name or whatever. And so I was like, well, they don't know my name, so I'll just change it to a unisex name, which I did, like Jamie, Pat, whatever. I don't remember what it was. because I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable, the person I'm calling, because like, oh, I'm sorry I called you ma'am and you're a sir. You know, it just, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. So, a lot of women, sometimes they bought the coupon book and sometimes they didn't. But when I talked to the guy, they would like flirt with me and they would, you know, get the coupon book. So at the time, I lived not too far away from a military base. I'm not going to say the name of the military base, if it's in San Antonio or Austin or whatever. Even though I've moved since then and I don't, you know, no one even knows where I live, but I don't want to give you any ideas where I live. I mean, that's just, you know, hello, social media. So, the military base had a prefix. Like, let's say, you know, like all the local numbers were like 972, but then like the prefix for the military base was like 974. The first three numbers, and then 3 more, and then 4 more, right? Area code, right? So I thought to myself, I was like, well, if I call the military, because there are women in the military, but there's more men in the military. And military, they always have that guaranteed peach. Because sometimes I call people like, we don't got the money. I'm like, yeah. But they always got, you know, like a guaranteed check. So I would call up these military guys. And I would, you know, and I would talk to them. And I didn't have to flirt with them. I was just being myself with my high voice. Seriously, I did not have to flirt. And they would flirt with me. And I act professional because I didn't want to lose a job. I was like, you know, sir, I was like, I can't be, you know, talking like this over the phone and everything. I was like, you know, but you can get the book and stuff. But I guess they would just assume that if they buy the book, that I have their number because I called them, and then maybe they would get something out of it, like maybe a date or something. I don't know, because a lot of guys would be like, well, darling, or, you know, sweetie pie, whatever, or honey, whatever. I'll tell you what, I'll buy the book. And I'll even buy 2 of them. I'm like, oh, that's really nice, you know, trying to be professional. And they're like, you got my number. And I was like, oh, well, I was like, I do. And they're like, I was like, but, you know, and he's like, it's okay. I know you can't talk about it, but let's just put it to you like this. He was like, you got my number. After work, why don't you give me a call? And I didn't lie to the guys. I wouldn't say, oh, yeah, sweetie pie, I will. I did not do that. Because, I mean, I do have morals. Okay? But I would say, you know, sir, I have your number, but you know, and like, I'm at work. It's okay. I know what you're thinking. I'm like, you don't know what I'm thinking. I didn't say anything. You're just assuming these things. So basically, it was so easy for me to make sales, and I was rolling in that money. You know what I'm saying? So then I did start being a little flirtatious, but I never lied. Like, I never, ever, 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 ever said, I got your number. If you buy the book, you have a date with me, or I'll come visit you. I never said that. Well, first of all, I'm a man. They'd find out, you know, they'd probably kick my butt. So I still kept it very professional. When I say flirting, like if they said something, I would go, oh, you're cute. Or that's funny, you know, something small, not like, you know. So, but it was really interesting because I was rolling in the money. But then let me tell you what happened. Some of the guys, I guess they thought I was going to deliver the book. And I never said that. Because they would actually ask me like, oh, you know, are you going to come deliver the book personally for me? I'm like, no, I can't do that. I was like, I man the phones. Like, you know, we'll have a driver. He's like, well, what's stopping you from, you know, sneaking out and come to see me with the driver? I'm like, sir, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. And I guess they just maybe were hoping or assuming. It was really odd that I had that many guys like, yeah. Well, some of them, I guess they got mad because I wasn't the driver. And maybe it wasn't, I would say maybe like 2. It wasn't like some, like 3 or 4. I would say like 1 or 2. They actually came because there was an address. Like, you could get your full money back. You know, like if you just said, oh, I don't like these coupons in the book, you got your money back. They didn't hold your money. So that was a good. And so I remember at least one time, maybe 2, where the guy would come in and we heard him because it's like we're in the back room with those crazy cheap cubicles with cardboard. And then he's working the front, you know, when people come in, and then also when people said they didn't want the coupon book or whatever. And then the driver came in. It's like, hey, I sold this book and I'm leaving. So he was like at the front. And anyway, the door was like either closed or kind of closed sometimes or whatever. Kind of not fully closed, and there was like another partition, if I remember right. It was like a door, and then, yeah, it was a door, and then there was a partition that you had to go around, and it had like fabric on it to dampen the sound. It was all makeshift though. Well, I remember this one time, this guy came and he was like, I thought that pretty young thing was going to deliver the book, and I don't like the book, and I don't think it's worth it. And the guy's like, I could hear him. He's like, it's okay. We'll give you back your money. As long as you haven't used the coupons. You can't like rip out 20 coupons and then get your money back. And he goes, well, I want to see her. I want to see her. Do I know I mean, there was other girls working there, and they got, the guys were flirting with them too. I was the only person that sounded like a woman. There were women there that was working that also sound like women. Right? But I just assumed it was probably me. But I mean, I never know to this day. I don't know. But it scared me. It really scared me because, he was just like, I want to talk to her. And he wasn't like mad. I guess he was like, it was weird. It's like, he wasn't mad because I didn't lie about the book. I mean, I told him, if they asked me the coupons, I was honest. Like, I never lied. I said it was a coupon book, and that whether you want it or not, but you're paying for the book. You're paying for the delivery and then the processing of the book. But I just thought I'd share that with you because I don't know. It was kind of scary when he came, but I was making good money, from a small town. They didn't have a lot of work, to do. And it was weird because I got hired so quick. So let me tell you what happened. I worked there the first year and everything was great. Then the second year, it was maybe a year later, 9 months later, a year and a half later, give or take 3 or 4 months, about a year. 9 months later, a year later, a year and a half later, about a year later, right? He came again and he remembered me. And he was just like, well, you know what to do. He was like, I guess, because the thing is, I wasn't calling the numbers they gave me. I was calling that military base. So, anyway, I remember I had worked there the first week, and then the second week, it was like a Friday. It was either Thursday we got paid on Friday, or it was a Friday we got paid on Saturday. It was the day before we get paid, and I was there, and I distinctly remember him telling me, he was like, you better come in the morning to get your check. And I'm like, he was like, you need to, he was like, and he goes, I like you. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. He goes, I like you. He was like, and so you need to come in the morning so you can make sure you get your check. I'm like, why would he say that? Come in the morning. Well, the first time he came, he's only in the town for a little bit, and then he goes from town to town down doing this, right? He goes to different companies like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, the movie theater, and says, well, we're making a coupon book, and so forth and so on. That's how he runs the business, I guess, at least from what I heard. Well, the girl that gives it the balloons to pop, she was just like, you might want to come in the morning because he's pretty much not going to be here much longer. And I'm like, sometimes I'm slow. I'm just like, huh? So we only got a couple more weeks left? No, literally, I came the next day early in the morning. I got my check. And there was other people too getting their check. And next thing I know is, like, I think I go get a soda from, I remember getting a soda from a machine, or maybe some chips or something. And then next thing I know, he's in his car and he's leaving. Because I don't remember as a matter of fact, I don't remember looking to see if the phones were still there. So basically, a lot of people didn't get their check. Because you were supposed to work in the evening time. It was like from 5 to 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We only worked in the evening. So if you had waited to come to work the next day at 5 o'clock, because this was like before noon. Maybe it was like, I don't know, it was before noon. Well, my friend used to work for him. I didn't know that. My friend used to work for him. And she had a friend that also worked for him during the time I was working for him, but I didn't know that person. And she was like, you don't believe what happened to my friend. I was like, what? She goes, she went to go get her check and he was gone. And I was like, yeah, I got my check early that morning. And, so that was pretty messed up. Like, I don't know how many people he told that to get that check. But I do remember, I would imagine because I was a good salesperson that he wanted to make sure I got paid. But that's not still fair, to my friend's friend. But I remember sometimes, because you made your own hours, like you could come in at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but just keep in mind, the less you work, you're not going to get paid that much, right? And I remember coming in, like I would be a little bit late, like maybe like, you're supposed to, we don't have to be at work at 5. You make your own hours, okay? And as soon as you log out, you log out. But you're not going to make that much, So most people are going to work more than an hour. And sometimes I only worked 2 hours and I left. I went home, but I didn't do that very often. I remember at least one time I came into, maybe it was like 6 o'clock at night, and everybody was already on the phone. Like they were already like talking on the phone. And I was like, I guess I'll leave. And they're like, hold on a minute. And he didn't make me, but he told me he's like, sit down. And like, it was a little office there with little chairs. And next thing I know, this girl leaves. And I don't know if she left because she wanted to leave or whatever. Or maybe they fired her. I think they might have fired her. I don't know what happened. But she left. And then the girl comes out and she goes, okay. And he goes, yeah, we got a seat for you. And I'm like, what just happened? And I'm assuming that they probably picked someone that wasn't selling good. And they said, you need to leave and put me there. But I don't know what happened because I wasn't in the room with that girl. And I don't know, maybe they just made me wait. It's possible they made me wait for someone to say, well, I'm tired, I'm going to go home now. Or maybe they offered someone to say, hey, if you go home now, we'll give you an extra $5 or something. Because the thing is, I was a good salesperson there. I knew right then and there that I knew how to do sales. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, brother. Here comes someone again walking. Anyway, someone was walking, and I thought they were going to walk up. Oh, before I say anything, I just got another huge box of Daily Harvest, so I'm going to review that. But I don't know. I a lot of me, I look back on it, I kind of felt bad with certain situations. But keep in mind, I didn't lie. Okay. Yeah, I flirted, but, who doesn't do sales and flirts a little bit? And, but what was I going to say? My point is like, I knew then that I was like really good with sales. And then I went on to other things and sold other things. But anyway, that's not the greatest story. Like I have some other stories like freaky stuff in the law of attraction. And like I said, I have a whole list of like interesting, shocking, amazing, whatever stories. And one of them is going to probably have 5 parts. Because it's so like, I don't think anyone can set that the whole time and everything. But back to this, like I said, this is okay. But I don't recommend seasoning with Spanish or Mexican spices. I think this might be good in a bolognese though. Just tasting it by itself plain. Please comment, like, subscribe. Tell me if I'm a piece of crap because I feel so bad. I don't feel horrible, but I just look back on it. I'm like, wow, I don't know. It seemed like it was a shady company. Well, it was because he left, and then that girl didn't get paid. But I didn't. First of all, I didn't know all I knew was they told me they're like, you better come in the morning, and I'm like, okay. Like it's not like. That's where my guilt comes in. That's like, I don't like to be a part of something like that. That's, I don't know. Until next time, I hope you have an awesome day. And thank you for staying for the long story time. All right. I hope you have an awesome day. All right. Bye-bye.